Hello, friends. The special military operation is going so well that now the Su-35-35S flanker E fighter bombers of the Horde are working overtime to try to shoot down the Ukrainian strategic attack mosquitoes, which fly more than 1,500 kilometers from the front. Yep, things are going great for Putler's Horde. Continuing on the air front, in this footage published on July 25, we see a team of intrepid aviators from the 11th Independent Aviation Brigade. The team from Kherson, Ukraine, successfully intercepts several Russian attack drones, shod drones using a German ANL Mk556 rifle, 5.56 millimeters from the rear cockpit of a Soviet-era Yak-52 training aircraft over the waters adjacent to Odessa in the Black Sea. Honestly, at first I thought the rifle wouldn't have enough stopping power to bring down the vultures of the Horde, but obviously, Ukrainian aviators only need a couple of short bursts to achieve the goal, which is actually to bring them down. Quite surprising. These pairs flying in very old planes have become a low-cost force that is essential for the layered air defenses of Odessa to manage to take out at sea, part of the massive swarms of drones that the invaders are launching daily against Ukraine's main port. The crews of the brigade have perfected this tactic, and in fact, one team managed to destroy a dozen Shahed, Orlan, and Sala drones in a single epic sortie, reaching a record of 120 enemy drones shot down in a single year. This demonstrates a surprising effectiveness against slow, loitering munitions that fly at speeds the JK-52 can match or surpass. The Jak-52S provide a vital complement to high-tech defenses, as they allow missiles to be reserved for higher priority targets and cover poorly defended areas of the coast and nearby maritime zones. In any case, this old master is putting up a fight that Ivan never would have expected. The medium-range strike campaign continues behind the invaders' lines, as this Russian logistics train can confirm, which was hit by an attack drone while passing through the Zaporizhia region, damaging a tanker car that began to spill burning fuel onto the railway line, which will surely be out of service for some time, at least until it's confirmed the rails weren't deformed by heat. On the naval front, attacks against the Z fleet have continued, but with less intensity since most of the ships that had not yet been attacked have withdrawn to Turkish waters to avoid being visited by the Ukrainian medium-range drones. But that doesn't mean the defenders aren't managing to capture some prey, like the bulk carrier New Victory, which was hit by an FP-1 drone in the Black Sea. After the free remodeling of the bridge, courtesy of the Ukrainians, I think we can all agree that the ship is going to need a long visit to a shipyard before it can transport goods from Mordor again. Too bad that to repair this damage, they're going to need more than just paint. This group of invaders came up with an ultra-original idea: to launch an assault by crossing right through the middle of a completely flat field, which is not good for their health at all. The mosquitoes saw them coming from afar and went out to meet them, to show them they weren't welcome. They started by destroying the first quad of the convoy and then destroyed the last vehicle in the column. A classic maneuver to immobilize an attacking force, giving time for the rest of the swarm to deputinize the illegal tourists who scattered across the terrain after their transports were neutralized. In a major defensive success, amid the intense ongoing fighting on the Pokrovsk axis, on July 22 units of the 1st Azov Corps of the National Guard of Ukraine, operating jointly with elements from other units, successfully repelled a massive coordinated Russian mechanized assault on multiple axes in the sector around the village of Shakov. According to the 1st Azov Corps, the Russian forces, made up of elements from the 8th and 41st Guards Combined Arms Armies and the 90th Guards Tank Division, launched an offensive with dozens of armored vehicles and light vehicles along two main axes, and for about 4 hours, the Russian columns tried to break through Ukrainian positions and enter the settlements near Shakov in the Dobropilia area. At the same time, Russian forces used their Gerbera attack drones, Lancet loitering munitions, and Tornado-S multiple rocket launchers to try to neutralize the Ukrainian defenders. The defenders responded with a layered defense, which included the prior placement of minefields and explosive charges on the most likely approach routes, along with airstrikes that damaged key bridges and road crossings. The Air Force was also responsible for destroying the group of Russian engineers who were trying to build pontoon bridges. At that moment, artillery, multiple rocket launch systems, and Ukrainian drones joined in the defense and attacked the invading columns while they were stopped. Reports after the battle confirmed the destruction of 7 tanks, 6 armored assault vehicles, a BM-21 Grad multiple rocket launcher system, a Tornado-S system, 3 units of specialized equipment, and 7 light vehicles. Russian forces suffered 123 dead, including engineers and some who received the popularity bonus. The mechanized assault was completely stopped, with the horde making no advances in the sector. The participating Ukrainian units included the 1st Azov Corps, the SBU Special Operations Center Alpha, Unmanned Systems Forces, the Air Force, and elements of the State Border Guard Service, all of them operating under coordinated command. Between July 26 and 27, Russian forces continued to press toward Pokrovsk and Dobropilia, but have not made any advances. At the same time, the Russians have been launching dozens of assaults with smaller units that have been repelled, but these seem to be part of a reconnaissance and clearing operation for the routes they hope to use in future offensives toward Dobropilia. Ivan seems to be getting back into the business of mass mechanized attacks. Too bad that instead of breaking through the front, he got a free Ukrainian beatdown. Thank you. Do you remember that on July 23, a Su-57 Felon stealth fighter crashed near Moscow? Well, I have some interesting information. The incident happened 65 kilometers from the Kremlin, near the Kubinka Air Base. The pilot ejected safely, and the Russian Ministry of Defense confirmed the aircraft was lost during takeoff due to a technical failure. So far, it's great that the horde lost one of its Su-57S, of which Ivan only has a few dozen in service. But here's where it gets interesting, because within hours, Z-Mill bloggers began to report that the Felon had been attacked by an air defense unit, Bars Moscow, which is a unit of reservists hastily organized by Ivan to protect the capital from long-range Ukrainian drone attacks. These reservists had reportedly been on alert all that morning due to multiple drone incursions, which may have led them to mistake the departing plane for a Ukrainian intruder, launching a man-portable missile at the aircraft at its most vulnerable moment. But this doesn't end here, because the International Intelligence Collective informed Napalm went even further, claiming that the crash was the result of a sophisticated Ukrainian human and cyber intelligence operation, through which supposedly they caused an air defense team from Bars Moscow to mistakenly identify the Su-57 taking off as a hostile target, attacking it with a Mambats missile. A Felon taking off in Kubinka would have flown at low altitude, potentially within range of the reservists' weapons. It would be the first confirmed incident of a fighter jet destroyed due to a cyber attack. If you're interested, comment below to let us know if we should create a detailed report on this incident. For those who want to see additional content, we invite you to subscribe to our Patreon, where for just $1, you'll have access to uncensored war videos. Visit our store and discover items from distinguished Ukrainian units. Each purchase directly supports United 24, contributing to reconstruction, civil aid, and defense. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel.